should I start? Okay, I'm gonna breeze through this. Of course, thanks to our sponsors. Okay, pens, pencils, have them out. Computers. I don't know if anybody read Atomic Habits. It's a super popular book. You not rise to the level of goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And I'm very systems oriented, and I think from a customer experience perspective, there's a lot of things missing when you are looking at how you develop your customer experience from end to end. So if you have a product, if it's SaaS, often people they come on board. And I think SaaS does a pretty good job because they have that ability to message them in-app or in email, because they'll also grab your email. But I help a lot of service-based businesses as well. And just think, last time you've had a plumber or a roofer or whatever, did they get any customer feedback from you, right? Did they follow up afterwards? Very rarely does that happen. And I think you get caught in that silence problem, right? No one complains, so it's probably fine. But you're not finding out a lot. There's these internal blind spots, You're not seeing how all these things play out. And then a lot of still follow-ups, especially in the service industry. I think so often we don't think about okay, now that the customer has had our product for a month, 2 months, where are they at now? And checking in, because that's where often you can get referrals, and that's where the title of this talk came from. Was okay, if you have this ability, you have these customers, check in with them, find out what they thought, make sure that you're solving those issues if there's future ones. And from a SaaS perspective, now we have these chatbots. A lot of them aren't really infused with a high quality AI. So it's really testing these things. And I was talking with a couple people today. A lot of times we're vibe coding, we're getting things out, but we're not testing them. We're not really seeing embedding them and using these things to understand what's working well and what's not. And then, you have to get more repeat business. You have to build that relationship. Just because they bought from you doesn't mean you have a good relationship with them, especially from a SaaS perspective.
Yeah. Will you be emailing this slide, or is there any way I can
if you want, you can email me. Yeah. Okay. So Karl with a K at systematicleader.co, and I think I have it here. If you have questions.
My laptop.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to email me, I'd be happy to share the slides. And this slide is where I think a lot of people miss out. 87% of people won't come back if they have a bad experience. Now that changes if you follow up and you try to make it right. This reduces drastically when you say, oh yeah, we screwed up. I realize that we screwed up, and this is what we'd like to do to fix it. You're going to see huge, and as you can tell, a lot of these slides are AI generated because AI can do a lot of this stuff to help you. For me to put all these slides together, I just put in the data, and out pops a bunch of great slides. 2 out of 3 leaders say I boost your revenue by 25%. And if you look at how you're integrating AI into your business, it's often on the internal side. You don't really think about from the customer experience side. So you have to start looking at that ROI and how to build that relationship. You can have AI now be much more autonomous, give it its own email, you have OpenClaw, it can reach out to the client on your behalf, say, hey, I'm the customer experience, relationship manager. You can have it email them, you can have this automatically done after, 2 days later. How was your experience? You can capture that data. It can ingest that data back and help you create a better customer experience. So it's this loop. AI is just so powerful and it's going to be used in so many different ways.
Are you referring to create, like using an agent for that purpose?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, there's so many, especially with Claude, but OpenClaw, you can easily it can have its own email and then it can follow up on your behalf. But a lot of that is just can be automated. And then my thing is, we all know we want more, that's why we're here, in-person type of experiences. So if you have that, if you have a SaaS product, it's a lot harder to do that. So a lot of these companies will create events trying to get people together. If you have a service, that is a key time to say, okay, yeah, we want this high-touch type of experience, but we also want AI to support us. So we're using it and we're untangling a lot of these things that maybe take up too much time, like creating an AI agent to follow up on your behalf and email the customer. This slide, I think, is really important. So you have to really be clear. So clarify your vision. And I think this is from a customer experience standpoint. It's often misunderstood of like, well, what's your vision for how you want the customer to feel, to act? We don't think through all that. We kind of think, okay, how fast can we get this out the door? Facebook and Zuckerberg are famous for creating fast and breaking things, but then that can also create a poor customer experience. And in their case, now they do a lot of testing, but back then they didn't. And lo and behold, they changed the meta, and now there's no metaverse there, right? So they didn't do a lot of this testing. So locate the friction in your business. Look at what is causing friction from a product perspective. You have to step back. And what I want is for us to be able to kind of step back on a regular, systematic basis, not just, oh, a lot of customers are complaining around this, so let's get together and figure out why. Trying to figure out every 3 months, every 6 months, what are we going to put in place to help us find that friction continuously and then be able to solve towards it. Once again, you might have 18 friction points that come out of customer interviews or whatever you put in place to get that feedback. But then you have to say, well, we can't do all 18. We want to focus on taking these top ones and say, okay, we can focus on this one, and this is where we're going to get the most value for the customer, and it's going to be the easiest to implement. So then you got to expose those gaps, and then you've got to architect a system around it, like we were just talking about, and then reinforce what works. And this is key. As much as you want to add to your product, I think it's even more important to remove stuff. We don't often think about removing things, even forms. We often will bloat out our forms, and now we thought we were going to have maybe 8 fields, and now we have 15 fields. And now we're getting half the responses complete because of that. So there's a lot of reasons, right? There's a lot of different ways to save money, and I like to think of these as Lego bricks. Like I said, you can't fix everything in your customer experience at once, so you have to look at, okay, what is going to drive the most value? How are we doing on time?
Yeah, buddy.
12:56, okay. And I think this is really important, is mapping it out, really creating a physical document that you can look at with your team or share with your sponsors, whoever you're working with, your clients. And this, I do it like this because it helps show people where those key areas are. But then you just look at the top, from awareness, to considering, to decision, to delivery, to loyalty. And that last part, loyalty, is where I focus with a lot with my clients, because once you have somebody, what are you doing to get them to come back? What are you getting to do to get them to refer you? And it's not that hard, it's just putting this system in place to be able to gather that feedback, to be able to understand where they're at. Often when you ask for a testimonial or you ask for these things, if they have a great experience, they are likely to do it, but how easy and how much do you follow up, right? Like, do you follow up once? Do you follow up 3 times? Do you follow up 6 times? Now, everybody's different. Now, if you have a high-touch, expensive type of service, you're going to want to capture that stuff. And you're going to find out what worked and what doesn't. Does anybody capture customer feedback? How do you do it?
We do an annual customer survey,
Uh-huh.
and then I also routinely do a little scan to check like Reddit forums and things like that to check sentiment.
Cool.
I like to know what's going on.
Do you feed that into an LLM then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do customer interviews?
Yes, we've got some of that going on. I work cross-functionally a lot, so I work closely with my product teams and my customer support teams to capture this. So I'm working with customer support to do the survey, working with product teams to get the interviews. I'm the product marketer, so I came in and I was like, guys, we need to know what they're saying if we want to do a good job.
Yes, yeah, and that's the type of stuff you can use on social media.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's how you double referrals, because you're using their language versus your own language. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
Instead of
awesome.
talking about features, we need to talk about benefits, and you know
Yep.
that if you don't know what they're
We
looking for.
forget that all the time. Yep. Like, hey, look at all the bells and whistles we got here. But it's not, what's the outcomes that we created?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else? Did you, go ahead.
I am kind of working on a small thing of my own and building, and one of this feedback right after. So mine is case by case basis. It's a bit of automation plus manual kind of consulting. And I found that if you immediately reach out after the case is finished, then the referral, like the likelihood of them responding and giving you valuable feedback, I have a form. And then of course audio and testimonials, video and testimonials add up to it. But they were not happening as frequently before after I started following immediately after the case.
Yep, you get a better response rate?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you too?
Yeah, well, I started a small software development shop about 2 years ago. So I do a lot of the feedback on a virtual call or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of starting this customer value focused kind of small 5-minute clips or whatever. Maybe I can post that because it's focused on the value and the benefits of our services. What have our clients, because I like to consider them clients and not customers, because it's different. What value have our clients gotten from our services? And use that as a marketing thing.
Now, one thing I will say, if you want a little bit of advice in there,
Please.
storytelling is so important, and it's hard to get people to, they'll say like, oh, this helped me with that, but it can feel like an infomercial.
No, it's gonna be a story of
It's gonna have an arc.
where they were at and what they can do now.
Exactly.
Thanks to our workflow tool that we built for this construction company.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Yeah.
we're able to track, timestamp, do this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's powerful.
And that is much more memorable as well versus, hey, they were so great and they came out and they were on time.
And we have a mobile app now.
And it carries so much more weight to hear it come from a client or customer versus like, well, we think we're great. Look at a copy all over our website. Like, there's a reason people read Yelp reviews before they go to a restaurant. Like, we want to hear from each other. Is this worth my time and my money? You know?
But can I be part of the interview because I like to be on video?
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's figuring out your system around that. And this is what a lot of times people start doing that, and then what ends up happening is it doesn't net the results that they hope for, and they kind of let it fall to the wayside.
Tweak it. You gotta
Yes,
see,
yeah.
It's a
Having that
journey.
scientific mindset. Yep. And
It's a journey.
and that's to me is where I was, talking with a client, and I was like, what if you had everybody interview one customer and you record it over Zoom, then you could feed that into an LLM, but you're also getting all those people hearing from customers. Like I thought, if Ford, the CEO, could talk to one customer that bought a new car every single month for a half hour.
Yeah.
So like, what's that, 6 hours a year? And you can do that, and imagine if I bought a Ford F-150 and then I talked to the CEO of Ford, man, that would make my day. I'd probably hop on social media and talk about that.
Like they care to hear from me.
Yes, yeah. You can also record all those, and now you can put them in commercials. Of course, they'd have to like sign off on that, right? But this is so much content. Did you have a question?
No, I had a comment of something that we're doing interesting, I think, for this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So we started doing this thing of a product-led pilot before we're launching the product. So you talk to 10 customers, you put the product in their hands, and then the thing that we feed into marketing is like, actually when I showed this to them and I explained it this way, they explained it to me a different way.
Yeah.
So then when you're actually marketing it, like 2 weeks later or a month later, you're speaking in their language.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
So the product-led kind of onboarding of these clients, it doesn't take that much time, but we're learning so much more about the product. Informs the roadmap, informs marketing.
Is it like a usability testing?
It's not usability, like it's like the first time we're rolling out a product, I would be like, hey, this is a pilot, do you want to join our pilot? And
Kinda like a
product. Yeah, so products
So it's
on the
live.
top.
Mm-hmm.
It's live, we're
Mhm.
turning it on, we walk them through the use cases or capabilities or whatever, and then we ask them to be like, okay, now try the product in front of us and walk through. So it is like a usability test, but it's like also like a very custom onboarding. Yeah, it's very like kind of personalized custom onboarding. And the other awesome thing is that because of that, we get really good testimonials that also then feed into the marketing materials. So we're only going to do this going forward.
In your sales pages too. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you say, I work for a large enterprise company, and one of the things we do is like we have user groups that are advocates for the company that have signed up to say, oh hey, like if there's a new product, like we just go to this user group and they validate and we walk through. And so having a group of or a set group of customers or advocates that are the ones talking about it is really valuable as well, because they're in their corner, but they're also able to offer feedback and support. The other thing we do is actually have an online community of users that can come to us for immediate feedback and support. So I manage a almost, it's kind of like a Reddit forum, but it's like an official company forum, and the product managers are the one that handle everything. And so customers get to speak directly to a product manager or get to talk directly to the people who are making the things that they're using, which is really powerful.
That's great.
We're rolling out something similar. They have them at our company already in different avenues, but my product line's about to get our own, and it's a customer advisory board. So that we'll meet quarterly, and we can vet messaging, we can vet products before we release them. Does this make sense for our roadmap or not? And those voices that are on that cab, they're not necessarily like they're all drinking the Kool-Aid. Like you want some in there that don't think you're amazing, because you learn a lot from like the negative too. So I'm excited to see what we get from that. Like we're in the early stages. Like we just started closing selection on Friday, but I'm excited about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
The
can't
other
wait.
thing I'll mention real quick is AI is also a great tool for that, because you can feed personas into AI and have like a customer agent that represents that ICP and directly like bounce off like, oh, if you're this person and you see this, like what feedback would you have? Obviously that doesn't replace human interaction, because you never know what a human might react to. There will be things that AI can miss, but if you need quick feedback on the spot, or if you're a small business and don't have like a group of consumers ready to advocate for you, you can use AI in certain cases and develop a customer panel on that way as well.
Yeah, it'd be a big difference between a physical product and a SaaS. I can see SaaS being a lot more easier just to be like, have that persona help you with that. But a physical product is much more tangible and like tactile, so you want that in-person feedback.
It's like a feedback loop, right? So if you are connecting to the customers or with customer success or like a survey, right? You are actually getting the reverse feedback. What you built, how was it useful to them or was it not, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And that helps you build better product. Like I'll tell you an example of MVP, right? I wanted to buy a certain AI course and I went there and signed up, whatever. So instead of signing up, I got a form. Hey, what do you want out of it? What are your expectations? And before rolling out the course, that form was getting all the input from the user, and that course would be designed according to that user input.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, so you're having almost designed in real time for that person. Because you have these Lego blocks components that you can say, oh, this person needs that, let's pull this in, that's cool. Yes.
More of a question to get your thoughts on kind of why aren't people doing this more? Okay, so throughout my time, I've been in product for like 20 years. Today I advise B2B SaaS on specifically on the PLG, go-to-market strategy. I've been doing that for a few years. And whatever startup I was at, whatever corporate I was at, people always, or whatever team I led, my product managers always said, we don't have time for this. Yep. But now we do. Supposedly, right? AI, our processes are supposed to be more productive, more efficient. I haven't been seeing my clients being more customer focused or addicted to customer feedback, doing all these things. So I'm interested in your thoughts. What's the hang up? Why, psychologically maybe, are we not approaching our user base to get feedback?
There's a few things that come to mind that I've seen. I think often is we don't want to hear that feedback because that means we have more work. So we are our brains I think take up 20% of our calories each day. So we are trained to be calorie efficient. And so if you hear complaints, if you hear these issues, you're
Yeah, it's funny.
it's the neuroscience, right?
Yeah.
So then we're like, oh, if I get all this feedback, I've got to process all this and then figure out what to do with it. And then even then, they don't always make the right decision of why they used that information in the way that they did. And then so they often will be, people might have a bad experience and they might hear a bunch of customers that are very irate. And then that creates that tension and that neuroses, I guess, inside of you. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but my experience, 23 years of corporate America, before I did my own thing, I just felt that people were not compensated according to the customer feedback. It was you're compensated in how fast you did your development cycle, how fast you delivered on the task.
So the KPIs around
The
it.
KPIs, the OKRs, all these things were what mattered. So if people are getting compensated according to something, they will try their best to excel or game the system according to that. It wasn't about customer feedback, right? After we're done with a project, it's the next project on the roadmap. Then the next one's about. So I just always lost the battle with saying, hey, can we just send a survey out? Like even if it's an internal tool to the company, we know it's our sales rep. Can we go and speak to them? They'd be like, calm down, calm down. You're gonna get your epics and Jira and your stories and just focus on that, right? On delivering that.
It's true. So this all takes more energy, and you have to figure out, okay, now once we have this data, what are we going to do with it? And this is where AI can help. It can ingest a lot of this information for you and process it, and then be able to say, here are those top 5 themes and highlights. This is where that your focus and your energy needs to be put. But then it still needs to take a human to be able to say, this is
We will take this.
We will take this and act on it. And that's hard. It's hard to do. But if you can show the ROI on it, you can then have them really be able to understand why it's valuable and why they should do it. And that is case studies. So whenever I work with a client, I'm always gathering the case studies. And to me, this is why I get referrals. I'm always following up, a month later, 6 months later, and doing these things. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I wanted to, because that was a very good question actually, and one of the crux of the things of people who want to kind of sincerely do the job, or not like do the job, but kind of make a product successful. It's a challenge between decision makers and the prioritization as to what I have felt. And this part of the equation is never to prioritize, and the timings will still be a challenge even in the AI world, because now the expectation on those timelines have also shrunk. So it's not like we have more time. The leaders would say now you have AI, so your timeline again gets shrunk. So what I have felt in my career is it's a prioritization problem at the top, right? And then secondly, the thing you refer to is very accurate too, because when you get that feedback, it takes a good amount of work to assess that feedback, challenge the negativities, negative feedback that have come up, and it's an extra body of work. And the last part is a bit uncomfortable that I have, for some reason, I've worked again across the enterprise, big financial firms, universities, research-driven firms. The last uncomfortable part is politics. We have had experiments, case studies, data. I've been into growth experiments a lot. One of my most successful experiments with 99% statistical confidence, like 15 years, one of the most successful statistically significant experiments, $15 million of incremental revenue in test, and it's not being implemented because the leader at the top had a bias again, because he came up with a certain proposition, their features were implemented, and the test
It went against what he thought.
and the test was a hypothesis against what the work has been done in the car.
Yeah.
And you can't fight against that that system. So there is a prioritization, communication, human element that kind of goes into mixing.
Yeah. But the key part is why with AI we'll have more time to do other things, and the more we realize like we can't just build SaaS, we can't just build these products on an island and then expect people to be able to they're going to have a great experience. It's gotta be now even more so incorporated into the everyday work environment. So you're creating this loop, this feedback loop, and you're creating that type of environment like Toyota, constant improvement. So you're looking at, okay, now over these next 3 months, we're gonna fix this part of our product, and we're gonna do it in this way. And that all starts with just mapping it out and really taking, you have to slow down to speed up. And I think that it's said, and it's become cliche, but even now in this even faster paced world, we're going to need to slow down to be able to speed up.
I have a question. Now, what we are talking about working with our customers are human, right? And they are actually giving their input and designing the system for getting feedback, right? Essentially. What if the customer is AI? Like we are building something and our AI agent is consuming that product. How do we get feedback?
I think it's probably just in the data trail that occurs, if there's errors that occur. Are they purchasing the right thing? And how do you map that out? And I think that's just going to be the data of, okay, what happened at this point? Because I'm guessing if it's AI talking to AI and there's a micro exchange of money, but that becomes millions of dollars because everybody is using their AI to find a certain product and purchase it. And if the AI gets errored out or stuck or can't find what it's looking for and gives up, that's the type of data you need to collect and then be able to go back and be like, well, why? What data did we not have for it that it needed to be able to finalize that transaction?
Let me give an example. Like I'm building a travel-related application, both web and mobile application, and I put that out there, right? And the AI agents are reaching out to my website and booking something. They're giving me money, right? So there is a real business happening. Now I don't know if AI agent is happy with me or not.
Probably that.
But who did they purchase it for?
But I think part of the question is, your AI agent should be interacting differently than a person, right? So you probably need to have a completely different experience that isn't a user experience, it's an AI experience for the agent. And the whole idea that their agent's trying to interact with you as if they were a person as opposed to an agent, that's where you're going to get your biggest lift if you're able to really conceptualize. But making that efficient, parsing that data in a way that's, I'm going to call it machine readable, as opposed to human readable, right? And that's a completely different structure.
I think in
But
your
then
case.
also in the end, who's the final vote of this is what I wanted? Yeah, I bought this trip to Europe, and then an agent bought them that trip, but how are you then getting that feedback? Is this what you wanted? Because maybe they liked, 70% of that trip, but 30% they didn't like. Now, how are you collecting that data on the end? It might be an agent going through that purchase, but now you have to think of that loyalty part.
Yeah.
How are you gathering that after?
Like engagement metrics or any other related.
I'll jump in if I have to talk.
Hey,
There
guys.
are two very interesting
Hey guys,
parts to it.
we're at time.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Time for the next
Okay,
session.
let's see, we're gonna get to half of my slides.
No.
Well, you were at some free time over.
Very, very, very,